Thank you, Reverend John. And it's a tough act to follow, but I'm going to do my best. So good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
As I stand before you here today, I could never have imagined that I would be giving a sermon at Center Congregational Church. My sermon today is a very personal story about the challenges that I have faced in my own life and how Center Congregational Church and the church family was there for me when I needed it most. I grew up with a mom who was an alcoholic and had a dysfunctional family life, which was very challenging for me as a child. After graduating high school and spending 4 years in the military, I married my high school sweetheart, who I spent 30 years with. Then one day, my whole world came crashing down. My wife was caught having an affair with a coworker. In my life, I knew it was over. After a tremendous amount of counseling and help from friends and family and my faith in God, I began to rebuild my life. I became a member of Center Church in February of 1993, and I can honestly say I never attended church on a regular basis. In my heart, I knew that I needed to. Life just seemed to get in the way. I always knew this is where I needed to be. When I came back to Center Church, Dave Buchanan was our interim pastor. On Sunday mornings, I would sit in Veterans Row with Shirley Listoria, who we all knew as Gary's mom, Bob Hart, who always had a story to tell, sometimes even before the service was over, and Fred Falk, who never had a bad thing to say about anybody, and who always kept our doors in our church, our special blue. They were all old-timers and very loyal people to Center Church. When I arrived on Sundays, they would have my pew Bible and my hymnal waiting for me. There was no other place in the church that I could sit. They waited for me. Dave Buchanan was an amazing pastor. On Sunday mornings when I came to church, I felt like I was the only one sitting there, and he was preaching directly to me. His sermon seemed to me to touch on what was happening in my own life and what was happening in life all around all of us. The friends and relationships I made at Center Church helped me through a very difficult time and very challenging time in my life. I was approached several times and asked to become a deacon. I felt in my heart I was not strong enough, nor was I ready to be there for others to serve as a deacon. It took me approximately another year, and as my faith grew stronger, and with the sudden loss of Gary Listoria, it helped me to finally realize it was my turn to step up and become a deacon at Center Church. Gary's mom, Shirley, who named our Pew Veterans Row, was a very special woman in my life, and was very proud that I was now strong enough to take on the role of serving as a deacon at Center Church. As my life and my responsibilities at Center Church continued to grow, it was very difficult for me to watch Center Church being torn apart. Attending church, to me, felt like going back in time in my own personal life. I knew I needed to become more involved to ensure Center Church was going to be here for the future. Center Church truly does have so many amazing people. Like me, Center Church is going through a rebuilding of its own life. This whole story of what's been happening with the pastor's sermons and with the stewardship campaign and what I'm doing here today may seem like a story that was planned out by members of this church and Reverend John, but this truly is a coincidence how it's all come together. Excuse me. About 6 months ago, on a Sunday morning, he came to me, God came to me, and of all places, in the shower. That happens often. He gave me a vision of what I could do to make sure that Center Church was always going to be there, and the doors would always be open to help others in a time of need. After meeting with several people and sharing the idea God gave to me, people became very excited and very involved, in making this idea happen. At the time, I was very adamant that I remain anonymous throughout the whole process. I was concerned that people would look at me differently with what I was about to do. I have been blessed with many gifts and many abilities in my life, and this was a way of giving back to my church and my church family. We all face challenges in our lives, good and bad. The saying goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What I have lived through has only made me stronger and helped my faith continue to grow and become stronger. After many meetings, our small committee began to grow. So many people had so many great ideas. As our small committee began to grow, it became very difficult to keep all this a secret. My concern was the story of what this new future fund really meant would be lost. Through the work of our committee, we have created the Center Church Future Fund. The concept of this fund is to make sure that Center Church's doors will always be open to help others. I am seeding this fund with a matching $10,000 gift. You can donate $1, $5, or whatever amount you would like. I will match up to $10,000. From what I'm hearing through the leaks in our midst, we already have people eager and ready to contribute. What an amazing feeling this is, and what it will mean to the future generations of Center Church. Let me make it clear, this fund is being set up with restrictions to help ensure that the future of Center Church is always here. The principle of the fund can never be touched. 25% of the annual appreciation will go directly back into the fund each year to help increase the fund. 75% of the annual appreciation earned will be used by Center Church to offset any shortfall we may have in our yearly operational expenses. The fund will invest in mutual funds with a higher level of risk, a potential higher rate of return. These are all long-term investments. If you have any questions, we will be making information available to you. I will also be available to answer questions that you may have. There has been much time and energy put into this by many amazing people here at Center Church. I can only imagine where this could go. Any ideas, suggestions to grow this fund are always welcome. I'd like to take time right now to thank the committee members who helped me put this together. I thought this was going to be a quiet little donation that I could make, and I could just slip back into the pew and nobody would know about it. But little did I know that there are a lot of legal parts to this of how it needs to be set up, how it needs to be invested, and how it needs to be handled. So I would like the following people to stand up, please. Dick Robinson, who I know is not here today because his wife is in the hospital. We send our thoughts and our prayers to them. Dave Wilson, Frank Mokenchek, Carl Wallace, Nora Hodge, Sherry Byrne, and I'd like to ask Carol to stand, please. I want to thank all these people who helped me with this whole process. It's very emotional. It's very challenging to stand up here and expose your life to people who probably don't know a whole lot about you. And my concern was I don't want to be judged. I'm just one of you. I've been given many gifts and many blessings in my life. And I've gone through a lot of challenging things in my life. And Wayne Dyer, if any of you have ever listened to him, we come on this earth with no things, and when we leave with no things. We take nothing with us. I want to thank all these members for everything they did for me. I want to thank Center Church for everything it's done for me. And by the way, if you have not noticed, I have Center Church to thank again for an amazing woman that I have in my life. Thank you. it's over.
He got his own glass of water up there just in case.